Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today. My name is David Talbot. I'm Managing Director and Head of Research here at Red Cloud Securities. I'm delighted to host a webinar today on lithium. We'll hear from Ultra Resources Management, including Andrew Lee Smith, their Director, Kiki Smith, CFO, and Afzal Perzada, VP Exploration. During today's webinar, they will provide an outlook and overview of the company. Then we'll take some questions. You can type your questions into the text box at any time, and we'll get to as many as we can. But before we kick things off, first we need to discuss the fine print. During this webinar, forward-looking statements may be made. I would direct listeners to the forward-looking statements outlined on page 2 of Ultra Resources corporate presentation. That can be found on the company's website, ultraresourcesinc.com. For Red Cloud Securities, I'd highlight this webinar is for information purposes only. It should not be considered a solicitation or recommendation to buy or sell securities. We note this call does not consider the particular situation or needs of individual investors, and participants should rely on their own investigation and seek their own professional advice before investing. Please see our most recent research located on the Red Cloud website for specific disclosures on Ultra Resources. So with that, I now turn it over to Andy to update the audience on the company.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Ultra Resources webinar. I'm Andrew Lee Smith, the director of the company. I joined the company in 2015 as a director to support and assist a colleague of mine, Wei Guolang, who's the CEO of Ultra Resources, to help develop a portfolio of projects in the lithium space that we thought would be able to create value and capture attention of investors. So now here are at 2021, and we believe that we've got the right assets, with the right team, and we believe we're in the right locations, and think that the timing is also right. So today we'd like to present you some of the details of our projects and take your questions and let you know what our plans are for the creation of shareholder value in Ultra Resources. Next slide, please. The right strategy. This is one of the things that we talked about originally when we were proposing to move forward in this, is that we'd be able to put together a group of assets, and I think we've accomplished a lot of that. There's a strong track record for acquiring good projects in the proper geological environments to be prospective for lithium, and we've managed to move these assets forward to bulk sampling in some cases, and are starting to reduce the risk with an eye toward developing partnerships that will help us create value through production. The right team. I talked a little bit about myself, but Kiki is here as well, our Chief Financial Officer, and Afzal, our VP Exploration, will provide some of the details on the technical side. But perhaps I'll just talk a little bit more about Wei Guolang and his unique position as a CEO of a Canadian public company, being a Chinese nationalist. He's got connections in both worlds, and after receiving his PhD in economics from the University of British Columbia, returned to China with the objective of working in the resource space to connect Chinese investment interests with Canadian companies and projects around the world looking for development. So that's really been part of the story with respect to developing the company, is not only the assets, but also with respect to the connections and the relationships and potential partnerships with major consumers in China for lithium products. We're very well connected there through the bridge that Weigo's created between China and Vancouver. Right jurisdictions. I guess Afzal will go in, and Kiki will go into a little more detail, but certainly the Canadian assets, Georgia and Fort Lake hard rock lithium assets, are really the focus right now. It's particularly active camp with RockTech being involved and actually announcing plans for development. We sit in that same area that is ideally located at the lakehead has the infrastructure required for economic development of the lithium project. We have 3 brine lithium licenses in the lithium triangle that straddles Argentina and Chile. Key address for brine production in the lithium space. We also have a presence in the Big Smoky Valley in Nevada, adjacent to the Silver Peak mine, which is the only brine lithium operation in the United States. And all in all, we've managed to create a collection of assets in key lithium jurisdictions, and look to be able to move these forward and have a production create the value for our shareholders. Kiki, do you want to?
Sure, absolutely. Hello, everyone. Pleasure to be joining you today. So, right timing. This is an excellent time to be in the lithium space. Vehicle manufacturers, all the majors out there have announced plans to convert their fleets to battery base over the next several years, which will continue to drive demand for lithium and lithium batteries as the go-to battery for vehicles. There are also have been supply constraints within the last few years, with some of the Australian producers maxing out and some other political instability in certain areas that have continued to cause some constraint in supply. So the combination of strong and growing demand with some constraints in supply makes it a very great time to be involved in the lithium space and opportunity to take advantage of the premium that's there. So this is just a quick snapshot of some of our compatriots in the lithium space, our peer group. We're there at the top, currently trading in the 19 to 20 cent range. Our market cap is about $20 million. Andy already mentioned RockTech. They're at the bottom of our list here. Shows a little bit of what the potential could be in terms of when we get closer to the pre-production production stage. And some of our other compatriots here are on the list. And it gives you a sense that we are undervalued relative to some of our peers in the group, which is an excellent opportunity to invest specifically in Ultra Resources. Our share structure, we currently have 107 million shares outstanding. 5.6 million options, exercisable in the range of 10 to 20 cents over the next couple of years, and 6 million warrants exercisable at 20 cents, expiring in April 2022. We are trading on the TSXV, the OTCQB, and the Frankfurt Exchange, and currently trading at 19 cents, which is a great price to get into the stock at. Our key shareholders, we have a strong Chinese base, as Andy mentioned. Our CEO, Weiguo Lang, currently holds 11% of the company. Our chairman, Mr. Chow, holds 27%. The Zhang Group, 20%, and our most recent group that joined us in the last year and a half, the Beijing Explorers, own 8% of the company. So for a total of 66%, so quite closely held. These 3 Chinese groups are very, they're not connected to each other at all, actually. They're in different industries. Mr. Chow is actually in the automobile sales industry. He's sort of a Jimmy Pattison of China. And and the Zhang Group, again, is separate from them. And Beijing Explorers came in recently, and they have more of a mining focus. So 3 strong separate groups show, from a sophisticated lithium producing and consuming country, just shows confidence in Ultra Resources and what we can do. So our objective going forward is to also expand our North American shareholder participation, increase awareness in North America with the opportunity with Ultra Resources, and to generate some more market liquidity. So we'll turn the table over to Afzal, who can give us some more specifics about the properties themselves.
Thank you, Kiki, and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Afzal Pirzada, and I am an exploration geologist by experience and training. And I have been involved for the past over 10 years in lithium exploration, which includes hard rock pegmatites exploration, brine exploration, and sedimentary brine exploration, and pure brine exploration in South America. And Ultra Resources, they have a mix of all three types of lithium resource exploration properties. And I will start with the Northwestern Ontario Georgia Lake Lithium Pegmatite Project, which company holds over 2,000 hectares land. And its principal highlights are that it is very stable mining jurisdiction and supportive community with excellent infrastructure and water-powered port and rail. Everything is in the vicinity. And this Northwestern Ontario is a traditional mining area. So we have trained manpower available around the property. And historical exploration work in 1950s, which has provided us a base that it is not a grassroots greenfield exploration, but it is a brownfield where a lot of historical data is available and well kept by Ontario Ministry of Mines and Energy, and we can get quick access to the data. Georgia Lake pegmatites, they are typical hard rock pegmatites with spodumene as main mineral, and it is in the Archean base. They have come out in the Archean basement rocks with sizes ranging in few meters to maybe over 10 meters or 20 meters of width, and their depth can go from starting from surface to maybe over 300 meters below ground. Next. Company acquired this property in 2016 and carried out exploration work right away. And surface sampling, it indicated lithium values in the range of 1 to 2%. And there are some other rare elements: tantalum, niobium, beryllium, and rubidium. And main lithium mineral is spodumene. There can be some other lithium minerals in hard rock, but spodumene is the most sought after lithium mineral for battery grade lithium carbonate. And the company continued exploration work in 2017 with more trenching and channel sampling and short drill holes, which showing lithium values same in the range of over 1% lithium oxide and widths of 1 to 5 meters. Very supportive community. We have regular meetings with the First Nations involved, and they want to move project because it's a green energy. They are very supportive of green energy metals, and RockTech Lithium is also in the same area. So we are having advantage that I have worked with RockTech, and I was involved with these communities since 2009. To add up to our Georgia Lake resources, we acquired Forgan Lake from International Lithium Corporation, and Forgan Lake property has high-grade lithium pegmatites with over 3,000 meters of historical drilling, and surface and drill hole results shows lithium in the range of 2% to 4% lithium oxide, and widths in the range of 6 meters to 8 to 9 meters. Then I will switch to brine lithium assets in South America. We are in within that lithium triangle, which is shared between Chile, Bolivia, and Argentina. We are in Catamarca province in Argentina, and we have over 7,000 hectares piece of land with standalone solar, which gives us advantage over other companies because we do not share any brine pools with other companies. Surface sampling results indicated high-grade lithium values like over 1,000 parts per million, and with very low magnesium to lithium ratio, which gives us advantage that we can our processing cost and time required to get a good concentrate in through natural evaporation can gives us advantage over other companies in terms of time and in terms of cost as well. Ultra Resources, we got a permit for ground geophysical surveys, and ground geophysical surveys were very successful, and we delineated a 23 square kilometer brine area, which is shown in light blue and dark blue color, and down to a depth of 225 meters it has been interpreted. The company also carried out some in-house testing of that is this brine feasible to produce a good lithium concentrate, and we collected a 4,000 liter brine sample, evaporated it in natural condition without adding any chemicals, and we were able to increase the lithium concentration from 391 to over 7,000 parts per million. So 20 times increase in lithium concentration just through natural evaporation. And we are looking forward to build, do further test work and do at pilot scale as soon as we are able to go on the project. And here are the upcoming catalysts, like our exploration plans. We want to, for Georgia Lake and Forgan Lake projects, we have applied for permits, and drilling, we are planning to drill about 2,000 meters by the end of this year. Metallurgical test work will also be part of the work, which can continue to the next year. And resource estimation and bulk sampling, that will also be a continuous process, because we are having some inquiries about that can we get small scale samples which can be bought or which can be tested in the market to get to see the feasibility of these pegmatites. For Laguna Verde, we have completed geophysical surveys, and we defined a brine potential exploration targets. Bench scale evaporation tests have been completed, and we are moving towards pilot scale test work, and drilling and resource estimation. That is next item in the agenda. And we also restaked our Big Smoky Valley area, which is close to Silver Peak Mine in Nevada, USA. And we want to reinterpret our geophysical survey data, because this is we can have some more exploration program on the Big Smoky area. Ultra Resources also have some gold assets in Argentina, which we are continuing on the side to keep as a because we are in that jurisdiction and we got these exploration areas due to our knowledge and connections in the area. Thank you, and I am looking forward for questions.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, everyone. Great presentation. So we're now going to kick off the Q&A portion of the webinar. Reminder to everyone that you can type your questions into the text box at any time. So let's get going here. I guess regarding your strategy, and this might go to Andy, do you see yourself as a green energy company with some gold assets, or would you really be interested in specifically green energy or lithium, or would any commodity work should the opportunity arise?
I know, we're focused on lithium right now, and as we know, the markets move up and down and change places, and the gold assets that we picked up came from the same source that we've been dealing with and picking up the lithium assets. So they were there and available, and we certainly see some value in them. Long term, I'm not sure what role they play, but we do understand clearly that we need to focus on a single direction. And right now, it's a focus on advancing the lithium projects as quickly as we can. One of the reasons for that, I think, is WAGO need to connect us with end users and other partnerships out of China that really benefit all stages of the production and delivery and final use. And I think one interesting fact that we haven't really expounded upon, but Mr. Chow, one of our leading shareholders and the chairman of the company, is has the largest car dealership network in Beijing. Very plugged into the long-term plans for China and electric cars. And I've had an opportunity to speak to him, and he really sees a point in the future where there's going to be tremendous increase in the consumption of lithium in Beijing that he feels will put a lot of pressure on international resources. So that's why his interest, and that reflects the interest in many of our Chinese partners, that they see a looming growth in the need for lithium in China alone. The day that China decrees that electric vehicles are required in cities like Beijing will be a sea change in the industry and in the space. And I believe that is what is attracting a lot of the attention in this company out of China. Also, WAGO's incredibly valuable bridge that he has, not only between the two countries, but between the two business cultures as well.
Mm-hmm. No, I completely agree. I think lithium is definitely going to be harder and harder to produce, I think, in order to get to the quantities that are required going further. And, just last week, I noticed the U.S., there was rumblings about potentially no more internal combustion engines in the U.S. after 2030, which is surprisingly early because it's earlier than Ford and GM have been noting so far. So maybe
combine that with the absence of any mandate to increase mining, and the equation is pretty simple. You're sending all this production and all this material and the supply chain to China.
Exactly. So I guess maybe going a little bit deeper on your focus as well, Canada versus Argentina, both key geological jurisdictions for lithium. How do they differ a little bit beyond that, as far as being a jurisdiction you'd like to be active within?
Is that for me as well?
Whoever wants.
I can answer this. Yes. For Canada, it is very stable, and we know mining codes are well written, and there are First Nations you have to communicate with and get moving forward on your projects. And historical information. It is it is worth of data, and even single drill hole or single essays, you can find it from ENDM website. For Argentina, it has it is the most promising jurisdiction in terms of South America. Like if we compare it with Chile and Bolivia, then Argentina has no moratorium on lithium exploration, while Chile has. They consider it as very strategic metal, and then Bolivia, it is they have more nationalistic approach, and among Argentina, there are 3 provinces which have brine lithium resource primarily: Catamarca and Salta and Jujuy. So Jujuy is close to the border with Bolivia, so they have more groups which are not very supportive of mining, or you have to work with the government. And while if you go to Salta, very mining friendly; Catamarca, very mining friendly, and government is very open in Catamarca. You can go meet the government people, governor or ministers, and they are very supportive. They need investments in their province or in their jurisdiction, and provinces, they control most of the resource, while federal government control import and export things.
Right. Okay. And, looking at the different types of projects, you've got brine projects and you've got hard rock projects, and, these are obviously somewhat different. Is there one or another that the company would be focused on developing, or are you going to try to move both streams along?
For hard rock, we did internal discussions, because hard rock is traditional mining. You can ramp up your production. You can go to the market, and just permitting and processing, that can take time, but producing lithium will not take time. While in brine, you have your resource, you have your permits, you have everything. Once you pump out brine, natural evaporation, if you're relying on that, then it will take about 12 to 18 months before you get your lithium chloride or lithium phosphate concentrate. So in the long term and low cost, we prefer that brine is a way to go in the long term. But in the short term, because market is in short supply until 2025, so hard rock, as Australia is taking advantage of their lithium mines, they are shipping all their pegmatites to China. So Canada can be the best good jurisdiction, because their pegmatites are good, and they have 1% lithium oxide, and spodumene is the main mineral which can produce battery grade lithium carbonate or lithium chloride or sulfate.
Right. And do you know what type of lithium products you might wish to focus on right now? Are you looking to create either spodumene or brine concentrates, or would you look further down the road and add some value, either lithium carbonate or lithium hydroxide?
I would say that there are, lithium industry is also evolving, as it's a new industry, and electric car producers, they are trying different products, like lithium manganese, lithium nickel, or lithium cobalt, and lithium phosphate. So, but the main ingredient is getting a good lithium oxide concentrate for over 6% from your hard rock. And same is with brine, getting a good lithium chloride or lithium phosphate or whatever, lithium sulfate, whatever is type of your salt, getting that concentrate to the market so that you can meet the demand. While hydrometallurgy, producing lithium carbonate or lithium phosphate, these are processing streams. You can add or you can remove, but basic ingredient is that lithium oxide concentrate.
And you're working with a consultant right now, right, to try to determine what sort of processing techniques you might want to use?
Yes, we are using. There are two type of consultants. One is for hard rock. SGS Lakefield is very reputable, and we always try to connect with them to get their opinion and metallurgical test work. While for brine, there are some. There are two aspects. One is traditional brine test work that can be done in Argentina locally. We have some experienced consultants available in the market, as well as because of our company's strong relationship in China, we always get alternate technologies, and those alternate technologies, they are at the early stage, and we cannot say that this technology will pass. But we are trying different alternate technologies out of China. And one company in Russia, they are also interested to take our brine sample and do. There are some membrane test work which they can do. They said that they can produce good lithium concentrate.
Okay, great. I have a couple corporate questions here. Insiders and key shareholders, they currently own 66% of the company. Now, how involved is the Zhang Group and the Beijing Explorers Group? Are these, do you see them as long-term shareholders of the company? Oh, I think you're on mute.
Okay. We do see the Chinese investors as long-term shareholders. The Chinese group tend, as a general principle, to be to invest with a long-term time horizon. The specific investors that are on our list there are not active in day-to-day operations. Dr. Lang maintains communications with them and keeps them up to date, but really it's the executive team that makes the decisions in relation to the specifics of the properties, exploration plans, development plans.
Okay, and then I guess furthermore, is the goal to increase liquidity here? Expand your shareholder base as well. Would you consider listing on the OTC in the US?
We actually are on the OTCQB already on the US. Yes.
Okay.
So we're available for US investors. Yes.
Okay. How much cash do you guys have right now? What's your budget for this year? You did the rundown on what your catalysts are, but what's your budget?
So we have a little over $400,000 in the treasury at the moment, and our budget for our plan is to do primarily exploration work in the Georgia Lake, Forgan Lake area, and we're looking for potentially some flow-through financing in the realm of $500,000 to a maximum $1.5 million to do a drilling program there. We're also planning to raise some hard dollars to shore up our balance sheet for the next year or so in the realm of about $1 million. Our burn rate is quite low. It's under $100,000. It's closer to $50,000 a month. So that would stand us in good stead. And we're also doing some ongoing exploration work in Argentina to the tune of it's about $10,000 a month. That's not our primary focus at the moment, but we do have a geologist there that is continuing to do some work while we focus on Forgan Lake and Georgia Lake at the moment.
Okay. On to the pegmatite projects. Has there been enough work on the 14 different pegmatites you have identified on those two projects, and in order to prioritize drill targets?
Yes, we have prioritized. Like Forgan Lake will be our prime target because it is near surface, high grade and larger width deposits, and which can give us a good value in the market. Then all those other pegmatites, they are also over 1%, but their widths uh, uh, their widths are like up to 5 meters and maybe a little bit over between 5 to 10 meters. But our main focus is on Forgan Lake, then to other resource because it can give us good resource for the coming years.
Okay. And it looks like you've got some pretty nice intercepts, between 2 and 4% Li2O. I think rule of thumb is typically if you got a percent, you can make a really nice spodumene concentrate. Is that a grade that you think you can identify in the field, ultimately define a resource around that grade or higher?
Yes, I think we did some historical results shows several intercepts, drill intercepts over 2%, and surface sampling 2 to 4% lithium oxide, and it will save us a lot of cost in getting a 6% concentrate because if you have 2% lithium oxide, you will need 3 tons of material to get 6%, while if you have 1%, then you will have you will add up your mining cost to double. And we are very excited about that high grade lithium deposit.
Yeah, and you mentioned cost. So there's byproducts here as well. There's nice zonation. I think we've got cesium, niobium, and some other things. Do you see economic or potentially economic concentration of those byproducts in the zones?
We have not calculated economic, but combined niobium tantalum, yes, it can cover part of the cost. The final studies can be done. And another factor is that if you have a local demand, the feldspar can also be sold for like ceramic industry because there were some studies done by Ontario Ministry that they were looking for feldspar resource in the area.
Okay. And then moving down to Argentina, you've got brine grades of up to about 1,200 ppm Li, and those look pretty good. I'd say they're comparable to some of the higher grade brine deposits, while most are in the 400, 600 range. Where do you see your brine grade coming in as you move that project towards resource estimate?
Yes, we are very excited about that project because it can be a brine resource can be very comparable to Salar Hombre Muerto, which is around 400 to 600 parts per million on average. And if there are values up to over 1,000 parts per million, then I think we will consider ourselves in the same range as other good salars in the area. And another thing is that low magnesium to lithium ratio, it is very crucial, and our magnesium to lithium ratio is maximum to 13, and it is or 1 to 1 to 13, so that can save us a lot of time and cost.
Yeah, and when you're looking at these costs, are you considering conventional evaporation, or would you consider like a new direct extraction process for your flow sheet? Have you considered that yet?
We have not considered, but we will be relying on traditional evaporation first, and because we are required by jurisdictions and Canadian standards also, that we should look for alternate technologies on the side also when we are presenting our resource. Then its producibility will depend on traditional as well as some alternate technology.
Okay, great. Thank you. And I guess we're down to our last question here. You recently acquired the Big Smoky Valley project. What is it about that project that caught your eye? Was it just proximity to existing U.S. production, or is there something else you like there?
Ultra Resources have a history with the Big Smoky Valley. We had used to have over 500 mining claims in that area, and we spent close to $1 million on the project and did ground geophysical surveys, and only tested 2 areas. So we want to reinterpret all those geophysical survey targets and see that if there is a possibility of having some lithium brine in some of the other areas. So that is our thinking about reacquiring those properties, because lithium prices are high, and any discovery in that neighborhood would be very exciting, because it is a North American market and close to Tesla's energy plans and Silver Peak mine.
Right. Okay. So at this point, you're just spending a little bit on geophysical and some groundwork on that project, not moving it forward that much this year. Next year might, perhaps.
Yes.
Okay. Great. Well, why don't we leave it there? So I'd like to thank Andy, Kiki, Afzal from Ultra Resources. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Reminder that Red Cloud Securities, we will be back tomorrow afternoon. Taylor is going to be sitting down with Canuck Gold. So that's August 11th at 2 p.m. Eastern. Hope to see you then. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.